So how do we cope with it? Well, we've learned through the podcast that because people are unique and grief is unique, so are the ways of coping with it. The things people do or don't do are often very creative, very personal. We're all different. There is no right or wrong way to do this. So as long as you try to do it in a way that doesn't further damage yourself or other people, then that's probably the right way for you. However, first and foremost, we would encourage you to at least find a way to express your grief, to feel it or talk about it somewhere. Allowing those feelings room to breathe is so important if you want to move forwards.
And while you're listening, to get your mind going for how you might do this, think about if any of these might apply to you. Just a few things to consider. Setting yourself goals, just like getting out of bed, tick. Eating regularly, tick. Going to work, sleeping well.
And talking about it, like I said, so important. Maybe with friends and family, but maybe through therapy or counselling, maybe in a grief support group, maybe online if that's what does it for you. Just something where you can start to express those feelings to other people who are sensitive and safe and will help you and listen.
Maybe you can get creative. You don't need to be a professional artist for this. Maybe you like art, writing, singing, acting. All ways that these things can be an outlet. Whether you're good at them or not, they can be an outlet for your grief. Creativity can be a really helpful way for the brain to process grief.
Maybe try something physical. One of our podcast guests processed the loss of his wife's pregnancy through running. And that can be especially helpful doing something physical if you're dealing with emotions like anger or anxiety.
Try something different, like something fun, like a smash pile. We've already heard that in one of the clips. Maybe decorating or refreshing things at home, new starts, new hobbies, learning a new skill. Engage your brain perhaps in a way that feels like you're achieving something while also hopefully enjoying it.
There might be something for you to try would be to set times and places to let your grief out. Diana talked about crying in her car because she couldn't do it at home with her family. Some people schedule grief. If you have a busy life, this can be a great way to not carry all your emotions into other situations like work. And if you've seen Shrinking on Apple TV, there's a coping mechanism for the grief of just playing a sad song once or twice a day and just letting the tears flow. And then when it finishes, they just get on and get up with the day. So there's different ways of doing it, but you might need to schedule it.
As Emily mentioned in the previous session, along similar lines, many people choose to help others, starting up organizations, charities, maybe campaigns, support groups, because sometimes helping others in their grief allows you to also access and process yours.
Coping with grief can be really hard. We almost live in two worlds, the real world and the world of our loss. And when I spoke to bereavement expert Bianca in Let's Chat that I did last month, she explained why it's so hard after a bereavement when we start to feel love and joy again. She said when we grieve, we move from the world of the living into the world of the dead and back again, which is part of the dual process model, apparently. So when we laugh again, we feel bad because that's moving back into the world of the living where people laugh. And this is a vital bit that she said, living people must experience life. And over time, the oscillation between the living and the dead, it becomes more fluid and less intense. But this can be the case for losses that aren't bereavements too. And it's in these moments when we allow joy, laughter and love back into our life that we start to see there can be good moments in grief. And that's when we start to glimpse how maybe grief could transpire into something more meaningful in our life.
I mean, clearly grief is something we can live without, right? We dislike it, maybe we dread it, we certainly want to avoid it. But we can testify to how it's actually the catalyst to many, many good things in this world. So often, charities and support groups, organizations, acts of kindness, some amazing human achievements, virtual family support symposiums, these are born out of places of loss. Many things, good things, can be found, can be felt, can be experienced, even while we're grieving.
Even if we're still holding grief in one hand, we can also hold joy, hope, freedom, acceptance, love, forgiveness, new life in the other hand. It's so important to know that you can hold grief and joy at the same time.